Hi everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks so much for joining me here today. We're taking another look at ICP, and this is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among many other things. Now, ICP is a really interesting concept, of course, as far as its price action, its movements. The technical charts are unique to say the least. It's probably one of the more unique coins that we've seen, and it's only been on the market for a short while. So I get a lot of requests for this one, so thank you to my community for asking that I cover this. And just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. You should always do your own research. I just have years of trading experience, and I love to be able to share my knowledge with you so you can become a better trader to learn to trade for a lifetime instead of for just one day. Now, if you'd like an interest in signal groups, I have one. Feel free to reference that down below. We currently have an over 85% success rate, so it's going very well. I send 3 to 5 signals per week for entry points and essentially try to help you with best practice so you can stay in the know and just be a better trader. Okay. So without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and reference the video? Let's check out ICP. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at ICP. And what we do first is we look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you're new to the channel, just because we like to understand big picture, right? So we have to know what's going on first in order to, kind of look at the smaller time frame. So we look at the one-day chart and work our way down after we analyze Bitcoin and Ethereum quickly, just to understand we get a baseline of the market, right? Because we always like to know how those coins are influenced by Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin first. Okay, now with Bitcoin, what we do is we look at the 4-hour chart. And just to clarify too, this is essentially TradingView. So tradingview.com, really good application. Feel free to reference that. I have a link below, I believe, for a discount if you'd like to consider that. But generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to utilize the moving averages, right? So on the 4-hour chart, we always use the simple moving average. Now, some would say the exponential is a more important way to go. I prefer simple, just based on the fact that it works better with price action on larger time frames. So 4-hour charts are higher. We want to use the simple moving average. We've got a 200 right here. That's the purple line, and the 50, which is this yellow line. Okay, so as we can kind of see here, and I marked this earlier, we've got kind of an upward, higher highs, higher lows pattern going on so far. So just bear in mind that there's a good chance, so we'll see this continue upwards to test the 36,500 range here in perhaps the next couple, I would say maybe 2 to 5 days. So next, I would say maybe just say 1 week, we'll see what's going to happen. And what's awesome too is that we're up over the 50. Okay, the 50-day moving average is a very well-known support and resistance level that always consistently pushes the price up or down. Lately, it's been kind of in a state of indecision, so sometimes the 50 hasn't been working as well as it should. But what we want to understand is that the 200 is going to be tested again soon. So pay attention to that. We'll know soon what's going on with the 200 once the price action kind of continues upwards, because we have a major support level at 30,000 and 31,000, major resistance at 36,500. This is probably the most important resistance level we can consider, even more so than the 200, just because of how many times it's been tested in the past. Okay. Furthermore, we've got a major resistance level at 42,000 and even 41,000. So we're not out of the woods yet by any means. In fact, Bitcoin has a lot of room for growth. But good news is we are making higher highs and higher lows presently. Okay, we'll see what happens though. Moving on to Ethereum. Very similar scenario here. I say this a lot just based on the fact that Ethereum has been performing kind of similar to Bitcoin recently. It's kind of been going a lot of sideways. It's been responding uniquely, you could say. We had this knee-jerk reaction here that caused the price to increase, contrary to what Bitcoin was doing. That's because Ethereum was so low and it finally bounced off its support level of 1725 that it had to come back up, right? But recently we kind of see similar price action to Bitcoin here as well. So not much to really note from Ethereum except that we're up over the 50. As you can see, the price blasted through there, and the resistance level at the 200 is right about 2,300. So 2,300 will be a major resistance level. In fact, let's go ahead and mark that here. You can tell that's been tested multiple times, worked as a support level originally, and a major resistance here recently. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and note that there. So again, 2,300 is a major milestone, approximately, for Ethereum. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Internet Computer, ICP. Now, the chart's a little funky because if you go too far out, this very first day was just a terrible day for a lot of people, I'm sure. I think that was the ICO date, and it opened at like 350, or no, what, 260, and it got shot upwards of 2,800. I don't know how that happened or why that happened. I know ICO dates are really funky. But that does throw the chart off a little bit, so bear with me. I'll try to go ahead and make sure that we're looking at some good information here. There we go. So for the one-day chart, ICP is, well, I wouldn't say terrible. It's doing better than it was before, obviously, right? $44 compared to like, $440. It's literally dropped down by over 90% since its inception, at least since the first couple of days. So just keep that in mind. Also note too that Elon candle happened right as soon as this opened, and then China candle happened on the 18th and 19th. So ICP really hasn't had a chance to be able to do anything with it. It probably had the most unfortunate open ever, right? So that's just kind of how I see it. But that being said, as we can see, the price continued to sell off. Perhaps the ICO date, the price action was too high. In other words, the price was too high on the first day that it inevitably had to come back down. But obviously, it had to retrace too, since the price went upwards of 2,800 at its highest point. So all I'm really trying to get at here is the fact that I'm not surprised to see the price so low because it had to respond the way that it did. And the price is still under the 50-day moving average. We finally have enough data for the 50 here. Not much else to note. Of course, the RSI is going to be off based on the data that we have so far on the one-day chart. So I really don't care for the one-day chart in this scenario. Why don't we go ahead and focus on the 4-hour chart because there's a lot more relevant data here. So looking at the 4-hour chart, this is what's super cool and super important. As we can see, much more volume in the last, what is that? That's about 1 week worth of trading. We've got the price up over the 50. You see how it broke through the 50-day moving average and held really strong. You'll see that as a commonality with moving averages on the 4-hour chart, specifically the 50. So that being said, it bounced up over that on the 27th, or shot through, so to speak, stayed up, went on a nice little run onto the 29th, sold off. And again, keep in mind, Bitcoin was selling off at this point too, and we have a slight ramp back up. But good news is it bounced off the 50. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 candle bars, basically 16 hours worth of trading where it bounced off the 50-day moving average and essentially held above. So good news is we're up above the 50. We are under the 200 still, so that's not terrible. That's roughly at about $64. That'll slowly continue to digress, whereas this price will continue to increase, and we should see a breakout, I would say probably in the next week. So we're going to see the 200-day moving average tested the next week. So just keep that in mind. For now, we are up over the 50 on the RSI. So above 50, under 70, it's a good place to be. That means it's basically bullish. And I don't know if you know this much, but RSI isn't just a good indication of something being oversold or overbought. If the price hovers above 50 and under 70, that's considered bullish. If it's under 50 and above 30, then it's essentially considered bearish. Okay. As you can see, there's tons of bearish content there as the price continued to go down. Now we start seeing some price action, staying up over 70. This is good growth for ICP. Furthermore, we do have a swing right here for the MACD. This is a very good sign. We typically want to kind of pay attention to that because that usually tells us that we have some type of momentum, some type of bullish momentum. Now we might be able to see this on the Ichimoku cloud. There might be a breakthrough. Oftentimes those two coalesce, but for the most part, what we want to do is kind of note here that this is the point in which the MACD is converging, swinging upwards, right? So again, we got the 12. This is the EMA 12 and the EMA 26. It's converging upwards, essentially giving us a buy signal. So that is usually something you want to pay attention to on the 4-hour chart. It's a good sign. It's a good chance we're going to see some continued momentum from ICP because again, the price is up over the 50. We are looking pretty good. All right, so 1-hour chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ichimoku. Let's see. Interesting coincidence, right? I told you this. I've said this many times in other videos. You want to pay attention to the cloud. When the price is above the cloud, it's a buy signal, right? So we kind of have that right here. But coincidentally, see how I marked this line right there? That's right where the 4-hour chart, the MACD on the 4-hour chart is essentially converging, right? So the price is above right there. So this is like the perfect storm right there for that, because when you get the confirmation on the 1-hour chart that the price is above the cloud, this is open season. So this is a very, very good sign. I like the fact that we're seeing this. It basically just tells us that we should continue to see some bullish momentum moving forward. Okay. So again, I use the 1-hour chart for the Ichimoku cloud, and that is the main reason for this. That's what this cloud is. The price is above, considered a buy signal. If it's below, it's considered a sell signal. So you'll see this. This is basically selling, and this is essentially buying. All right, So let's take a look at the 15, and we're going to turn off the cloud and enable our EMA and VWAP indicators. Okay. Now, when it comes to EMA and VWAP, if you're new to the channel, VWAP is volume weighted average price. That's the volume in the last 24 hours expressed as a price. Every 24 hours it resets. So we'll see here right now, price is over VWAP, essentially telling us it's a buy signal, or more importantly, the VWAP is working as a support level, right? Furthermore, the EMA line, price is over EMA almost consistently. It broke down below right there, but that's right where the price converged on the 4-hour chart, and we see the price continuing to increase. So when it comes to taking entry and buying, you want to look for buy signals. So I have this notification set up here, available through my Patreon, and this is right here. You see this? You see these two little up arrows telling us? That's basically notifying us that the price is closing with 30 minutes of confirmation above EMA and VWAP. Okay, because in order to get good confirmation, you want to make sure that the price is moving in the direction you're heading. So if you're shorting, you'd see 2 red candle bars moving below the EMA and VWAP lines. And that's just basically giving us confirmation, because the price above EMA is one thing that's telling us the bulls are in control. The price is over VWAP, that's telling us the support level is being tested and working as a support. So VWAP is a continuous support and resistance level. This is a perfect storm right here. So this would have been a great entry point. And you see how it comes up and bounces off of the 15, the EMA 15 right here. That's an indication the bulls are still in control. Now it did kind of lose out right here, right? It bottomed out, but look at how it's supported over the VWAP. Now let me just go ahead and clear this out, because I want you to kind of see what I'm talking about. So first of all, we got confirmation here. We've got 2 solid 15-minute green bars. Entry point. You take entry, price comes up, see how it's bouncing off the EMA lines? Awesome. That's great confirmation. Bulls are in control. Bulls lost a little bit of control here. The price comes down, but you see how it bounces and holds off the VWAP line? That's a secondary support. That's essentially another support level. Yeah, and see the price continues up, tries to bounce, and now it's bouncing off the EMA line. So when you have that kind of confirmation, those are cases in point where you'd want to add to your position. In other words, we see this here. First of all, you got your good entry point, comes up over, and it comes back down. And you're like, oh no, I'm going to start losing my profits. Some people will start to trim right here, depending on where the RSI is at. RSI come down under 70 here, so this would be a good consideration to trim, maybe even sell your position. Then when the price comes down here and you see it bounces off the VWAP, this is a consideration where you want to try to take entry and or add to your position if you're comfortable with what you have so far. And as the price continues to come up and test and hold above the EMA line, then that's further confirmation. Okay. Now what it's doing right now is concerning a little bit, but it's not terrible, because the fact that the price is still over VWAP, so we still have the fact that it's working as a support, but we are losing EMA for right now, and that is a consideration to possibly maybe trim your position. Again, same scenario here. You see back here when this price action got below the EMA, but it bounced off the VWAP. We're hoping for this to happen. So if this comes down and just goes down further and stays above VWAP, then we'll be in good shape to continue to get more gains. Okay. So again, just something to be mindful of. Those are little things that I utilize to increase my chances. And currently with my signal group, thankfully, link in the description below for that, I actually have an 85% success rate so far using these skills, using these tactics, right? So you can use this yourself, of course, but keep in mind, this isn't effective unless you look at a one-day chart and work your way down. And always look at Bitcoin too, so you know what's going on, right? You cannot, with any certainty, do well in the market if you don't know what Bitcoin is doing. It controls everything. And that's all the more reason to pay attention to it. That's why we look at it here as well. So again, thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you found benefit, of course. If you do, like and subscribe. If you haven't already, feel free to comment below as well. And let me know what your thoughts are. Feel free to join my Telegram community as well. I have a really good group of folks down there. You can learn a lot. There's no cost. But that's all in the description below. So once again, I want to thank you all very much for joining me here today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.